Okay, so let's take a look at a funny one here. Worst spies ever?
Oh boy. Okay, there's lots of them. You know, I know at one point the CIA actually came up with this idea where they were going to put a radio microphone in a cat, just a stray cat, and they were hoping that the cat would then hang around the Russian embassy in Washington and maybe get close enough to hear people outside eating their lunch or in the park or whatever.
Right.
Now, this is something that cost, I believe, $15 million. This was a few years ago. And they go through all this, with the cat, and they let the cat go, and the cat goes out and gets run over by a bus. So, yeah, that's kind of dumb. A lot of spies, Americans who have spied for the Russians, a lot of times they do it, just purely for money. And there's this one spy who went out, but you're supposed to kind of keep it on the down low, But he went out and he bought 2 yachts, and he got a swimming pool, and he got a Cadillac, and so on. And that just made the people at the CIA suspicious of him. So he got caught. The thing about spies is we always think that these spies are, they're always like James Bond. Nothing can go wrong, but a lot of times things do go wrong.
Yeah, and I'm sure we hear more about the ones that are caught here than the ones that are caught over there because we don't want to talk about those ones. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, one of them, the one that really interests me is back in the 50s. There was a Russian spy named Rudolf Abel, and his job he was undercover in New York as a photographer, and he ran a little photo shop in Brooklyn. But he had a network of 800 Americans helping him steal atomic weapons secrets, and it got to be such a workload. He requested that Moscow send someone over to help him, and so they did. So they sent this guy over, and he was like probably the worst spy ever. He took his money. I can't even pronounce his name, but the KGB gave him $5,000 to come over to the United States, get settled, and make contact with this Rudolf Abel. And instead, he just went to Atlantic City and gambled it all away, and was with prostitutes, was telling them all these kind of Russian secrets and everything. Right. He had
because everybody knows, nothing gets a prostitute's attention like Russian secrets. You got
it. He got to the point where he became so he knew that Moscow was on to him, and they called him back, and he knew that he was just going to be executed. So he walked into the embassy in Paris. The U.S. Embassy in Paris, and told them everything, and that's how they caught Rudolf Abel with this enormous spy ring in the United States. They caught Rudolf Abel. He was the spy that was exchanged for Gary Powers, the U-2 pilot that was shot down, but they never caught the 850 Americans who were working with Rudolf Abel.
Oh, crazy.
I actually feel kind of bad for Rudolf Abel hearing that.
Well, it depends on how much he won.
Yeah. I mean, the guy who this guy got in trouble. He didn't do anything wrong. He just, hired this stupid assistant.
Right.
Screwed him over.
Right.